I teach ethnic studies at a community college. One of the units in my introductory course is about education. We begin the unit by tracing historical legacies of American K-12 schooling. We discuss topics like boarding schools, tracking and segregation, and the struggle for language rights. Eventually we transition into a discussion about college and college access. To ground the lesson, I ask my students to reflect on their own experiences first. A few questions that I ask. 1, what are your educational goals? 2, at the moment, how do you feel about your educational goals? 3, what is an obstacle that you have faced in college? And 4, am I the greatest professor of all time? I'm kidding, but go Dubs. As you might assume, answers for question 1 varies, especially along major and career interests. However, the majority of my students are working towards their 4-year degrees, which is also known as a bachelor's. For question 2, my students offer a collection of emotions. Some are frustrated and overwhelmed, others are hopeful and excited, and most, well, they say, is complicated. For question 3, some common obstacles include paying for college, navigating confusing institutional policies, and learning to balance school alongside health, family, friends, and work. By and large, the answers my students provide are not unique to community colleges. Unfortunately, they are system-wide and they plague countless students. It isn't until my students share why they feel the way that they do about their educational goals and how various college obstacles have impacted them that I am reminded that I am at a community college. Students' stories about confronting various college obstacles are often punctuated by the disappointing fact that they had to settle upon attending a community college. Here are some things that I have heard. I got into my dream school, I couldn't afford it, I gave it up, and now I'm here at a community college. I got kicked out of my university. I'm here at a community college trying to get back. I wasn't a good student. I got into a lot of trouble. The only place that I could go was a community college. Conversely, when students share that they willingly chose to attend a community college, many students tend to diminish themselves as well as their decision. Here are other things that I have heard. A lot of my friends go to 4-year colleges. I chose to go to a community college, but I will transfer soon. I wasn't sure what I wanted to study. I enrolled in a community college for now. And I didn't get into my college of choice. I didn't get into any college. There is nothing shameful about attending a community college. It's college, real college. But the open access and enrollment, abbreviated programming, and modest facilities have situated community colleges as secondary, less reputable options for higher education. Additionally, students that attend community colleges are often characterized or mischaracterized as academically deficient and apathetic about their future. So, the story is, community colleges just aren't prestigious. But what is prestige, and how does something become prestigious? To have prestige means to have widespread admiration. Something becomes prestigious when it has a respectable and inspiring reputation, a quality product with a quality outcome. Colleges become prestigious on numerous factors. 1, the diverse and selective student population. 2, the number of students graduating and their overall rate of success and satisfaction. 3, campus resources and facilities. 4, money. And 5, facilities. So, Can community colleges become prestigious? It's an important question. My answer, they already are. And let me tell you why. Community colleges are pillars of opportunity. They serve as launching pads into higher education for the communities that surround them. Nearly half of college students enrolled in four-year institutions began their college journeys at community colleges. When you disaggregate that data by race, class, age, and gender, we are even better able to see how fundamental community colleges are at reconciling some of the most persistent educational gaps. According to the U.S. Department of Education, first-time Latinx, Black, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander students are enrolled at community colleges and began their journey in higher education there. More than half of community college students come from under-resourced backgrounds and communities. Over 1/3 of community college students are considered non-traditional in age, which is 25 to 99 years young. And when it comes to gender, community colleges are key for students who identify as women, as they make up more than half of the enrollment. Indeed, community colleges are not selective or competitive in their admissions. Students are not comparing accomplishments. They are not contending for an elusive seat. Instead, community colleges welcome students from various backgrounds and communities, including those that have been systematically, meaning socially, historically, and politically marginalized and withheld from full participation in higher education. This means that community college students, are interacting with, but also learning alongside an incredibly diverse student population. Now, what about graduation rates? Community college graduation rates need to improve, but this is also true across a number of four-year colleges. Here's an important statistic to note, though. When community college students transfer into four-year colleges, they are graduating at comparable, if not higher rates than students who enroll directly out of high school. When community college students obtain a two-year degree first and then transfer into four-year colleges, they're graduating at even higher rates. Community colleges are adequately preparing a population of students to meet their academic goals who may not have had access otherwise. And regarding satisfaction, various studies show that more community college students are overall satisfied with their experience compared to those at public, but also private four-year colleges. Now, what about campus facilities and resources? Community colleges are small. 78% of them serve less than 10,000 students. Smaller colleges mean smaller campuses, but also smaller classes. Student to professor ratios at community colleges are far more manageable. The smallest class that I have taught at a community college was 10. The largest class that I have taught was 85, and on average, my class is about 35 students. Smaller classes have really afforded me the opportunity to forge meaningful relationships with my students. As an educator, they have also offered me the opportunity to better assess my students' development and their learning, and to also adapt to each class's unique needs. Community colleges also emphasize extracurricular activities and student services. Student life organizations and student government are available, including and student organizations that emphasize cultural, ethnic, and social communities are available. When they are not, you can develop them. Student services for a variety of backgrounds, including those that are disabled, underdocumented or undocumented, educationally disadvantaged, within the foster care system, first generation, formerly incarcerated, as well as veterans of military service are available as well. Community colleges closely reflect the locations in which they are located in. And part of that responsibility means distributing resources to those that are among the most vulnerable. The principal reason why students attend community colleges is affordability. College has never been more expensive than it is right now. Community colleges just cost less. There are also financial aid, waivers, and scholarships available to those that academically and financially qualify. On top of that, there are numerous states, including California, that are making a large push to make community colleges tuition-free. As Bay Area residents, this is especially significant. And I know many of y'all are young, but if you do pay rent, we do live in one of the most expensive housing markets in the nation. A few neighborhoods in the South Bay region have seen rent increases from 36 to 42% in the last 6 years. Prospective buyers would need an annual income of $350,000 in order to buy in some Bay Area cities. That is an unprecedented amount of money. College tuition is not only about affordability within the Bay Area context. It is more so about familial sustainability as well as exercising smart financial literacy. Now, what about faculty and administrators? Community college faculty and administrators have the same degrees and credentials as four-year college administrators and faculty. Many of them, or most of them, have master's degrees, and there are also a number that have professional and doctoral degrees. While it is true that four-year colleges recruit faculty in a different manner than community colleges, many community college faculty are local to the neighborhoods in which their institutions are in. This means that faculty members can be and are more adept to the potential and the needs of the community that they are serving. Community colleges are doing important, admirable work. They welcome and accept numerous experiences and knowledges. That matters. Community colleges are where an 8-year veteran can return home from service and acclimate into civilian life. They are where a retired 70-year-old student can keep a promise and return back to school after a 36-year schooling absence. They are where an immigrant mother can enroll in classes and improve her English to better communicate with her children, and where a 19-year-old can take classes and affirm their academic potential, but also their brilliance. Community colleges are also where a professor with hella tattoos, a pretty fresh sneaker collection, and red hair can return home and launch her career and serve students from the exact same neighborhood that raised her. And if you aren't sure who that professor is, that's me. Community colleges are key institutions in actualizing educational equity. By speaking about their potential and accessibility, I am not discouraging any students from attending a four-year college. Four-year colleges remain excellent options, and students who are admitted to them deserve to be celebrated. My point is to encourage students to not only consider community colleges, but to see them as viable, prestigious institutions. And for the students that attend them, whether by choice, circumstance, or any combination of reason, to be proud of their decision, and for us, their community of support, to celebrate them too. Thank you.